There's a reason why billion-dollar pharmaceutical companies don't want you to know about these 3 nuts. They know that just a handful of nuts each day can make you feel like you're 18 again, especially in the area that every man cares about most. And that would cost them billions of dollars from the expensive medications they're selling to guys like you. I'm Dr. Michael Anderson, a men's health specialist in urology with 35 years of experience helping men restore their strength, confidence, and masculine vitality. Over the past 3 decades, I've witnessed thousands of men reclaim the vigor they thought was lost forever. And what I'm about to share with you today will completely change how you view aging and what your body is still capable of. But first, let me ask you something. Do you remember what it felt like when you were 25? Waking up in the morning with boundless energy, confidence in yourself, and capabilities that you can now only remember as memories? You didn't have to think about whether your body would work how you wanted it to. It simply worked. You felt strong, ready, and entirely in control of your life. Most men over 60 believe those days are gone forever. They think losing energy, declining desire, and feeling weak are unavoidable parts of aging. They accept that their best years are behind them and must adapt to this new reality. But what if I told you that's not the truth? What if I told you that your body still has the ability to function like a finely tuned machine, and all it needs is the right fuel? The latest research from Harvard Medical School and the Mayo Clinic has discovered what I've been observing in my clinic for years. These 3 special nuts contain natural compounds that the male body, after 60, desperately needs. They're not just food. They're like perfectly designed pills created by nature. The first nut works like a natural blood pump, opening up circulation pathways you thought were closed forever. The second nut is like a plant-based testosterone pill, stimulating your body to produce the hormone men need to feel strong and confident. And the third nut, it's like a 24/7 energy battery, nourishing every cell in your body with vitality you haven't felt in years. And if you stay until the end of this video, I'll share with you the special secret to combining all 3 of these nuts in a way that can maximize their effectiveness up to 10 times. This is the formula I only share with my private patients, and today is the first time I'm making it public. If you're truly serious about reclaiming your strength and confidence, hit subscribe and turn on notifications right now. Type "ready" in the comments if you're ready to change your life, or type 0 if you're still skeptical. I understand that skepticism. I used to feel the same way until I witnessed these undeniable results every day in my clinic. Because what I'm about to reveal to you will challenge everything you've been taught about aging, and it might shock you about what your body can still achieve. But instead of just talking about scientific studies, let me tell you about Frank, a former Marine whose story will completely change how you look at this first nut. Nut 1. The natural blood pump. I'll never forget Frank's eyes when he walked into my clinic. Frank was 64, a former Marine with 30 years of service to his country. This was a man who had led an entire platoon through the most dangerous territories in Afghanistan, who had looked death in the face and never flinched. But that day, he sat across from me, speaking in whispers, his shoulders slumped as if carrying an invisible burden. Frank looked at me and said, "Doc, I feel like the enemy defeated me without firing a single shot. They took away what made me who I am." His voice trembled, and I could see the pain eating away at him from the inside. These weren't physical wounds he could bandage and heal. This was something more profound, much more fundamental. Frank didn't know that his problem wasn't from war trauma or psychological stress as he thought. In fact, the real cause lay in a tiny molecule called nitric oxide, or NO. This molecule determines whether blood can flow to the most critical areas of the body, especially those places that men care about most. When we're young, our bodies produce NO abundantly, but after age 60, this production drops by up to 85%. Imagine a tank running on only 15% fuel, precisely what's happening to your circulation system. That's why even the strongest Marines can feel defeated by an invisible enemy. But then I told Frank about walnuts. These small nuts contain a special compound called L-arginine, which is the precursor for the body to produce nitric oxide. It's like providing raw materials to a factory that has stopped production. Along with that are omega-3, special fatty acids that help soften and expand blood vessels, creating wider pathways for blood flow. And there's also folate, a vitamin that helps the body produce new, healthy blood cells. Clinical studies over 12 weeks showed excellent results. Men who ate walnuts regularly had up to 340% improvement in blood flow. Imagine opening up water pipes that had been clogged for years. Suddenly, everything starts working again, like it used to. I explained a simple walnut strategy to Frank. Every morning, he would eat 7 walnuts soaked overnight in filtered water. I told him this was like preparing equipment before a critical mission. Soaking helps release the nutrients and makes them easier to absorb. Then he would drink it with a glass of warm water, like how soldiers fuel up before starting a new day. I told Frank, think of this as a mission with a clear timeline. The first 10 days will be the reconnaissance phase. Your body will start recognizing and using these new resources. Frank called and reported the first week, "Doc, I have morning energy like when I first came back to base camp after a long mission." Something in his voice had changed. It was more confident, stronger. The second week, Sarah, his wife, also a former military medic, called me. She said, "Doctor, Frank is back. I can see the light in his eyes that I thought was lost forever." But the message I received from Frank at 11 p.m. on the 4th week really made me smile. He wrote, "Doc, mission accomplished. Sarah and I feel like we're on our honeymoon again. I can't believe something as simple as walnuts could do this." The most wonderful thing about Frank's story wasn't military tactics or mental strength, but the science of nature. Nature created these perfect pills millions of years before humans knew how to manufacture anything. And now, Frank had found his way back to himself. But here's what even Frank didn't know in those first few weeks. Walnuts, while powerful, can only solve half the problem. Because no matter how well blood flows, if your body doesn't produce enough hormones to use that blood, you'll still feel like a fake man. And that's precisely why nut number 2 is called the golden key by Harvard scientists. Without it, even Frank would only achieve 30% of his true potential. 2 Brazil nuts, the plant-based testosterone pill. If you're feeling like a fake man, I want you to know you're not alone. In 35 years of practice, I've heard this phrase thousands of times from my patients. They sit there, looking down at their hands and saying, "Doc, I don't feel like a man anymore." And my heart aches every time I hear it, because I know exactly what they're going through. The scientific truth is that after age 60, natural testosterone drops by 1 to 2% each year. That might not sound like much, but do the math. After 10 years, you've lost 1/5 of man's most important hormone. After 20 years, nearly half is gone. It's just not fair that our bodies do this to us. But what makes me angrier isn't that this happens, but the response of most doctors when patients come in for help. They look at the test results and say, "Oh, this is normal for your age." Normal? When did a man feel like he had lost his essence? The reason they say this is simple. Because they want to sell you synthetic testosterone therapies at $500 a month for life. Let me tell you about Marcus. Marcus was 62, a former welder who specialized in working on oil pipelines in Alaska. For 20 years, he worked in the harshest conditions you can imagine, minus 30 degrees, 16 hours a day, in blizzards that most people wouldn't even dare to step outside their homes in. Marcus was an honest man of steel. He welded joints in conditions where the wind could blow a person away and survived winters where temperatures dropped so low they could freeze the water in your eyes. Through that work, he raised 3 children to adulthood, all with college degrees and good lives. But when Marcus sat in my clinic, he looked into my eyes and said, "Doc, I used to weld steel in a frozen hell. I did things most men can't even imagine. But now, I can't connect with my wife anymore. His voice choked up, and I could see his pain. That's when I told Marcus about Brazil nuts. Just one Brazil nut contains nearly 200% of the selenium the body needs daily. Selenium isn't just an ordinary mineral, it's the key that unlocks the special enzymes the body needs to produce natural testosterone. Think of testosterone like a car, and then selenium is the key to starting the engine. Along with selenium, Brazil nuts also contain zinc and healthy fats that the reproductive glands need to function effectively. These aren't artificial supplements manufactured in a laboratory, but what nature has perfectly packaged in a small shell. Research published in the Brazilian Journal of Medical Research showed results that even surprised me. Men who ate just 2 Brazil nuts daily for 8 weeks had up to a 42% increase in natural testosterone. It's like flipping the switch on a testosterone factory that had been sleeping in your body. But selenium's benefits don't stop at testosterone. It also works like a shield, protecting the prostate gland and reducing cancer risk in this area by up to 67%. Selenium also improves sperm quality, and yes, this still matters even when you're over 60, because sperm quality reflects your overall reproductive health. Additionally, it boosts the immune system and works as a powerful anti-aging agent. The first week after starting the Brazil nut therapy, Marcus called me. He said, "Doc, I'm sleeping deeper, like the feeling after my best work shifts. My body is truly resting." By the third week, something had changed in Marcus's voice. He said, "I have morning energy like when I was 30, when I first started learning to weld. I wake up and feel ready to conquer the world." But the call I remember most was from Linda, Marcus's wife, in the second month. She called to thank me, and I could hear the happy laughter in her voice. "Doctor, my husband is as strong as the day we got married. He's truly back." But there's one crucial thing that Marcus learned the hard way, and I want to share it with you so you don't have to go through the same thing. Only eat 2 Brazil nuts per day, no more. Marcus, with his welder's more is better mentality, tried eating 5 nuts in one day and ended up dealing with uncomfortable nausea. Selenium is a potent substance, and our bodies only need just the right amount to function optimally. What worries me is that in 35 years of practice, I've seen too many men achieve excellent results like Marcus, and then they call me back with disappointed voices. Because there's a silent enemy, that even when you have perfect blood circulation and abundant testosterone, if you can't defeat it, everything will collapse in just a few months. This enemy is called cellular depletion. And that's precisely what happened to Big Eddie, a truck driver with 40 years of experience, until he discovered this third nut. Nut 3 pumpkin seeds, the 24/7 energy battery. The question I hear most from male patients over 60 isn't about money, it's about heart health, and it's about memory. The question is, "Doc, why am I always so tired?" And when they say tired, they don't mean tired after a hard day's work or tired after exercise. No, this is a completely different kind of fatigue. This is depletion fatigue, the kind of tiredness you feel even when you wake up in the morning. This is fatigue that no amount of coffee can cure, and no amount of sleep can make up for. This is soul-deep exhaustion, as if someone has drained the battery of your entire body and forgotten how to recharge it. After years of research and observing thousands of patients, I discovered the real cause behind this condition. It's not age, it's not genetics, and it's not normal. The real reason is that the energy cells in your body, called mitochondria, are literally starving. They're not getting the nutrients they need to produce the energy your body requires. Let me tell you about Big Eddie. His real name is Edward Thompson, but everyone calls him Big Eddie not because he's big physically, but because of his big heart and personality. Eddie is 69 years old, and he spent 40 years of his life as a long-haul truck driver. During those 4 decades, Eddie drove massive containers from Los Angeles to New York, from Miami up to Seattle, across every road and through every weather condition America could throw at him. He accumulated 3 million miles without a single accident, a record that even the youngest drivers respect. Eddie knew every diner, every gas station, every shortcut from the East Coast to the West Coast. But when Eddie came to my clinic, he had become an entirely different version of himself. He got tired after just 1 hour of driving to the grocery store. The man who used to drive for 3 days straight, only stopping for gas and a quick meal, now had to rest after every household chore. Eddie's breaking point happened on a Friday night at the poker table with lifelong friends he'd been playing with for 20 years. Right in the middle of a hand, Eddie suddenly passed out and fell face first onto the table. When he came to, he looked at his worried friends gathered around and said, "Guys, I used to stay awake for 3 days straight on I-80 in a blizzard, and now I can't play poker for 2 hours." That's when I introduced Eddie to pumpkin seeds, the superfood specifically for mitochondria. These tiny seeds contain a treasure trove of nutrients that the power plants in your cells need to function effectively. There's magnesium, which works like a professional mechanic, helping produce ATP. That's the energy currency of the body. There's zinc, acting like catalysts that speed up every energy-producing reaction. And there's iron, transporting oxygen to every corner of the body like tiny trucks. But the most special thing is that pumpkin seeds also contain tryptophan, an amino acid that helps produce serotonin, the happiness and deep sleep hormone. When you sleep better, your body has time to repair and recharge those tired cells. Research conducted in Germany over 6 weeks showed excellent results. Participants who ate pumpkin seeds regularly had up to a 56% increase in cellular energy. Imagine this like replacing the battery in every cell in your body, from brain cells that help you think clearly to muscle cells that help you move powerfully. But there's an added benefit that Eddie was especially grateful for. Pumpkin seeds work like a natural Viagra for the prostate gland. Studies have shown it can reduce prostate enlargement symptoms by up to 73%. This means fewer wake-ups at night to urinate, deeper sleep, and ultimately more energy the next day. It's a perfect positive cycle. The second week after starting pumpkin seed treatment, Eddie called with his first good news. He said, "Doc, I just drove on a 4-hour road trip to visit my granddaughter without feeling tired. I feel like I'm driving a truck again." A month later, Eddie returned to the poker table with his buddies, and this time he played for 6 straight hours without any signs of fatigue. His friends even joked that he was cheating by drinking some secret energy drink. But what surprised me most happened in the 3rd month. Eddie called me with news that even he couldn't believe. He said, "Doc, I just signed up to drive a truck part-time at age 69. The local trucking company needs experienced drivers for short hauls, and I feel ready to get back on the road." Eddie continued, "Doc, I feel like there's a turbo engine running inside my body. I want to conquer Route 66 one more time. Who would have thought those tiny seeds could do something so miraculous?" Have you ever wondered why some men eat all 3 of these nuts but only see average results while others experience a complete transformation like they've been reborn? The answer lies in a secret I only share in my private clinic. But today, for the first time, I will reveal the Power Trinity Protocol, the formula that turns these 3 nuts into the superweapon that Big Pharma fears most. V-Synergy Protocol. The maximization secret. Now, I want to share with you what I only teach my private patients, the secret to maximizing the power of all 3 nuts. Think about each nut like an instrument in an orchestra. Walnuts are like the violin, creating the main melody of blood circulation. Brazil nuts are like the piano, providing a solid hormonal foundation. And pumpkin seeds are like drums, bringing the rhythm of energy. Each instrument sounds good individually, but when you combine them, you get a perfect symphony. This is exactly how these 3 nuts work in your body. Walnuts lead the way by improving blood circulation and creating nutrient pathways to move efficiently. Brazil nuts then step in, boosting testosterone production so your body has the fuel it needs. Finally, pumpkin seeds provide sustained energy to keep everything running all day long. 3 different pathways, but all heading toward one goal, helping you feel strong, confident, and vibrant again. I call this the Power Trinity Protocol. Every morning, between 7 and 8 a.m., you'll eat 7 walnuts that have been soaked overnight, 2 Brazil nuts, and a handful of pumpkin seeds, all with a glass of warm lemon water. Why in the morning? Because this is when your natural testosterone is at its highest, and your body absorbs nutrients most optimally. Soaking the walnuts overnight helps activate enzymes and makes the nutrients easier to digest. About the expected timeline, in the first week, you'll sleep more deeply and feel less fatigued. In the second week, you'll be more alert in the morning and be in a better mood. By the fourth week, your partner will notice the difference. And the third month, you'll feel like you're 18 again. In 35 years of practice, I've witnessed thousands of men come back to life and reclaim the strength they thought was lost forever. And the best part? Not through expensive medications or complicated procedures, but through what nature gave us millions of years ago. Age isn't the end of the story, it's the beginning of a new chapter. I challenge you to try this for 30 days. If you don't feel like a young man again, I'll give you your money back. Oh wait, these nuts are entirely free. Comment below and let me know which nut you're going to try first. Subscribe to get more natural rejuvenation secrets. And don't forget to share this video with the men you care about. See you in the following video.